So today I'm going to tell you how I live stream in real life. If you watch my channel, you know I do live streams on a consistent basis. This is by no means the most complicated setup. I like to keep my live stream simple. There are more complicated setups than this, like using a IRL streaming backpack which costs hundreds of dollars a month, and an encoder and like OBS software, but I don't do that. I use a simple setup that streams directly from my phone to YouTube. So it has its advantages, but there's a lot of disadvantages to it as well. So let's start with the equipment I have. So here I have my streaming phone, which is the Samsung Galaxy S10 5G. It's a Verizon specific model, and I like it because it's got a headphone jack and it's also got the USB-C port, so I can charge the phone while still using the headphone jack. Well, this is an audio jack really, because I use this for a microphone, but you can use headphones for it too. It's very important to have the sound right when you're live streaming. Sure, you can do without a headphone jack, but you're going to hear a lot of wind noise, and that's not pleasant to hear when you're watching the video. Now, optional is a second phone. I highly recommend it because you could look for directions, you could take pictures with this phone while still streaming with this one. Because if you're just using this one, you're going to get tied up and being unable to use it while you're streaming it. To me, that's very important. And that gets to my second point too. Live streaming isn't cheap at all because I have to pay for 2 cell phone plans. This one's a Verizon plan. I have to pay 80 bucks a month for it. And make sure you pay for the plan that doesn't throttle you under 480p video streaming. I had to pay extra for the 720p streaming plan. Otherwise, you're gonna get like constant hiccups in the live stream. And this one, I just have it under a T-Mobile family plan. But that does it in terms of phones. You can use pretty much any modern phone if you want to stream, but I like this because it has the headphone jack. It's very important for me. And also, there are a few phones, like I think the Google Pixel, they overheat easily. So make sure you avoid phones which are known to overheat easily. I think Google Pixels and maybe Motorola's, they overheat easily. But Samsung's known to have good like heat resistance. So more on the equipment. This is the microphone I use. This is the Rode SmartLav Plus microphone. I also got the wind muff for this. It's extra. I think I paid like $25 for a set of 3. It's expensive, but it's well worth it if you don't want to hear the wind noise in the shot. And basically it comes off and on. You just hold the base and you pull it up like that, and you put it on. And there's a little hole here, you see? You just stick it in.
Show the hole again.
Yeah. And we got a little hole here that fits into this lavalier. You need to get the specific wind muff for this, otherwise it's not going to work. There we go. And since this is the SmartLav Plus, this is the gray cable, which is the TRRS connector. If you have the black end, it's not going to work with the smartphone because it's a different connection. Otherwise, you're not going to have any kind of headphone audio, microphone audio at all. Gray end is for smartphones and black end is for analog devices like traditional microphones and whatnot. I'll show you one that needs a black end, like this one over here. This is my Tascam DR10L. I have a converter here which converts the gray end into the black, which is the TRS connection, and that way this one's able to record like that. But this one's for smartphones, this one is for analog devices. So just remember that. Okay, and now while you're live streaming, you also want stable footage. And in order to do that, I have a gimbal. So right here I have the Moza Mini MX gimbal. It folds up like this. Really easy to unfold. All you gotta do is pull it like this twice. And then over here, you unfold it like this. Oh, it's this way. And then you flip the head. And it comes with a tripod too. I think I paid like $100 for this gimbal. And now gimbal's ready. I stand this up. And then I put the phone on. So all you gotta do is put it on like this. And there it is. But now I need to connect the microphone to it, which will add weight to the gimbal. So it's important that you adjust the gimbal only after all your attachments are finished. That way you know how much you need to balance it. So I clip the microphone on my shirt like this. Make sure the microphone's not rubbing against anything, or else you're gonna hear wind noise or other kinds of like rubbing sounds. But now that everything's connected, we gotta make sure this is balanced now. So in order to balance it, we wanna make sure the gimbal is straight on its own before we turn it on. So in order to do that, we'll move this over to the right just a little bit. That looks better than before, but as you can see, it's still drooping a little bit down here. So we still need to move it over this way a little bit more. Okay, that seems a little bit fine, but I'm noticing the top here is a little bit angled. I need to fix that. So let's open this up and straighten it out a little bit. Alright, looks fine now. And now I'm going to turn this on, so I'll hold this button for a few seconds. And now it's on. Now you can see wherever I turn it, this phone's going to be smooth. I don't like to use this mode. I like to press this once. This way it'll be on the follow mode. So that way when I point up, the phone also points up. When I point down, points down. The same thing with left and right. I find this mode to be the easiest to use. Alright, so that does it for the equipment. Some other equipment that I use that might be very helpful. I have here an AT&T personal hotspot. It's a prepaid hotspot. I think I pay $35 for 15 gigabytes. Or if I need a lot more data than that, it's I think $75 for 50 gigabytes. But I don't need to use it all the time since Verizon's so good in New York City. But when I was in Florida, this was a lifesaver because Verizon's service down there was so bad. And I have here a power bank. Now, if you plan to live stream for long periods of time, like this phone, about 2.5 hours, even sometimes in 2 hours if it's cold out, the battery will start to get low and you need something to keep it charged while it's going. And you need to use a powerful power bank. I think it's like 1.5 volts. Don't quote me on this, but you need a high output power bank to make sure it's charging faster than the phone is just charging. Otherwise, you're gonna have a problem. And you gotta keep in mind too that if you hook up a power bank cable to the end here, it's gonna weigh down the gimbal. So you're gonna have to adjust the weight again. And I've also found with this gimbal too, it's better to move it over to the right a little bit, even though it's off balance, because that way it can handle all the weight. Otherwise it'll be off and it won't work as well. I've had some problems with the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 or the DJI OM4 where it gets off balance really easy as soon as you attach the microphone cable and the charging cable. So that's why I use this one. And I have this GoPro Performance chest mount here, but I modified it a little bit and I got the smartphone adapter. So as you can see, it just screws out with the GoPro screw, and I could put my phone in here and put it in the chest mount if I need to. This is good when I do my scooter rides and when I'm riding a bicycle and I need my hands free. I put my phone in here and it works really well. So I'm going to demonstrate it now. Oh, make sure the phone's the right way, otherwise you're going to have issues. And that's it. Live stream on a phone with the chest mount. And one last piece of equipment I use, my little backpack here. This one isn't too heavy, so I like it for doing long distances. It's also very helpful because I can put my power bank over here. Slides right in there, and that way I could, you know what, let me demonstrate it. What I like about this backpack too is I can slide the power bank right into the side like this. And it'll still reach. So watch this. So you see here I'm live streaming. Well, it's not balanced, but you get the idea. It still works. I mean, you might have to fiddle with the cable a little bit. Just put it in your pocket a little bit. That way it's not dangling around, but it's definitely workable like this, and I can charge my phone while streaming. Like I said before, this is a pretty simple setup. It's definitely a lot cheaper than those IRL like backpack setups which cost hundreds of dollars. I mean, this gimbal I think was like 80-90 bucks. This phone I got off eBay for like 500 bucks. My iPhone 11 was my personal phone. I mean, that I got brand new when it came out, but it's definitely a lot cheaper now. This personal hotspot I got from the AT&T store. I think they charged me like a one-time fee of like 120 bucks plus the service. You gotta preload on it. Like I said, it's I think 35 bucks for the 15 gigabyte plan and $75 for the 50 gigabyte plan. The Verizon plan is I think 80 bucks I pay for a 50 gigabyte non-throttled connection. After 50 gigabytes, they can throttle you if they wanted to, but I haven't really experienced that as much in New York City. My T-Mobile plan's on a family plan, so I pay 30 bucks a month for that. I think this charger was like maybe 35, 40 bucks, I don't remember. I mean, the charging cables are maybe like 11 bucks each, and this GoPro chest mount I think was like 30 bucks. This smartphone holder was I think like 12 bucks for a pack of 3. So pretty inexpensive considering what, you know, a lot of other equipment costs, like big DSLRs or the backpack setups like I told you before. This backpack I think was like 25 bucks, so pretty affordable as well. And I also subscribe to a service called Speedify on my streaming phone. And what it does is, it's a VPN, but it has the ability to bond two connections together. So that way I can use the Verizon plan and the AT&T plan at the same time. And I think it's like $10 a month if you pay monthly, but if you pay annually, it's like $4 a month. So much cheaper to go with the annual plan. And like I said, it really depends like on the area where you're live streaming from, which service you should get. Like by far the best service in New York City is Verizon, but down in Florida, where I was about 2 months ago in February and March, AT&T was king, and that's why I got this AT&T hotspot for those reasons down there. So there's several ways to live stream to YouTube. The most common way to live stream to YouTube is to just use the YouTube app that's built into the phone or download it from the internet. Like this one here. You go to the YouTube app, and then I want to go here, go live. I didn't even allow access to the live stream while while doing this, so you know I don't do this too often. And here you can make a live stream on its own. Create the title, make it unlisted private location, and that's that. You can go live from YouTube, and that's the simplest way to do it, and probably the most stable way to do it because it's direct. But there's some issues with that. The biggest issue with that is that it only caps you at a maximum of 720p quality. So if you want to stream in 1080p or higher, you need to use a third-party software, and this is where this comes in. The one I use is called Speedify. Prism speedifies the VPN. Prism Live. Now Prism is a third-party application that allows you to live stream, and it gives you so much more functionality. Over here you can add everything from media, music, text. I've got everything here set up from pictures, which I can adjust if I wanted to. This is useful if I want to show a screen while my camera is off, so people don't get bored and know what I'm doing. I have be right back screens with music playing. I also have other music clips, so I can mute the audio if copyrighted material is playing and then play my own music over it, or if I want to play something in general. But you can even do some other cool stuff like add some text over here. Like you can have this display on the live stream if you want to. There, hello. But I'm going to delete this. But anyway, I'm going to set up an example live stream for you all to see. So what I do is click on this button here, and I want it to be a new broadcasting. And what I do here is, I'm not going to make this public because there's no use to make it public. I'm going to make it unlisted. And over here you can put in your title and your description, but I mainly keep my description the default, since I use a second phone anyway and set everything up on the second phone. What's annoying about this is if you set the live stream to public, it doesn't monetize the live stream right away. You have to go into the YouTube Studio browser and then enable monetization that way. Otherwise, the live stream won't be monetized. You'll still be able to get super chats, but everyone who's joining the live stream currently won't be able to monetize their viewership unless you schedule it beforehand with YouTube. But doing it that way, I found, doesn't send notifications out. It's a weird little quirk with the Prism software, and I wish they'd fix it. But for now, this is what I do. I make it unlisted. Well, not unlisted. For this one, I'm making it unlisted because I don't want this to be broadcasted. I'll set my introduction starting soon, And you can set a thumbnail if you want to over here, but I don't need a thumbnail right now. And right here I'll mute the microphone so that way people don't hear the external noise while the introduction screen is playing. And I start. So 3, 2, 1, it'll start. So what I do now is use my second phone. I'm going to go to studio.youtube.com because you can't edit the live stream on the Studio app. You have to go to the browser site. Now over here I'll go over to videos, I'll go to live, and here you can see my live stream right here. Now I go over to monetization, press on and save it. Now the live stream's monetized, and then I go into the actual description itself in order to edit the description box. You can also edit this description box on the Prism app itself before you start the live stream, but it's a lot easier to do it on this screen here since you're already here. And also what I could do is go all the way down to show more and enable things such as slow mode and members only chat if you want to, and then save it. And there's another thing that this introduction screen allows you to do, because you can set up everything while people are still waiting and joining in for you to start, so that's perfect. Okay, now that everything's started and saved, now I can skip this introduction, and now the live stream is started. So you can see here it's working. We're live already. Here I have my live stream active. The chat message is going to pop up here, and when you're finished, just press end. And your live stream is finished. As simple as that. The last section I want to talk about is live streaming etiquette. Now, when live streaming in public, there's a lot of things you got to be aware about yourself and the world around you. Number one, try to keep personal information private. Don't show people's credit card numbers. If a phone number is being read off to you, you can always mute the live stream in order to prevent confidential information from getting out. Also, don't film sensitive areas like bathrooms. That's an area that's completely off limits. What I do is I actually put on the be right back screen, or put up a little picture that says be right back and play music over it. So that way people have something to be entertained with while you say, hey, I'm going to the bathroom, I'm muting the audio, I'll be right back. And that's something you should always do. Some other things about live streaming as well. The laws might be different depending where you are in the world, but here in the United States, you're allowed to record in public. There's really no expectation of privacy in public. So if someone asks you, hey, I don't want to be on camera or whatnot, as a live streamer myself personally, I would respect their wishes and say, hey, I'll do this for you, but I don't have to. You don't have to be on camera, you're in public, you're allowed to be recorded, but I'm doing this as a courtesy. But when you're inside private establishments like a store, a restaurant, they do have the authority to tell you, hey, you can't record in here, I'd rather not you recording the store. And if that kind of happens, then what I usually like to do is say, okay, I'll stop recording, or you say, is it okay if I record myself, and you flip the camera to yourself. That way you're not causing any kind of disturbance within the store. And also, while we're live too, there's this other thing called stream sniping, where people view the live stream to see where you are, and then they take actions against you based on that information. Like, people would try to pull pranks on you, like calling the police on you, or try to jump into your stream to cause trouble, and that's not really appreciated and not really nice or appreciative of the live streamer's time. But anyway, that's a quick lowdown on how I do my live streams. It's not the fanciest setup. I can get more technical with a live streaming backpack with an encoder and an auto switcher in case the connection drops, but that's just a lot of bulk that I don't want to carry. I like to keep things simple. But if you liked all my tips on how I do my live streams, be sure to give this video a like, and I'll see you all next time. Take it easy.